Breaking news as we take a live look here at the U.S. Supreme Court. We are following the impact of these decisions that we just got this morning, again, having to do with President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, the Supreme Court striking that down. Also a ruling on a website designer in Colorado, essentially saying that she can refuse to create same-sex marriage websites, citing her First Amendment rights.
Also, this happened as well, which we covered. The Supreme Court essentially ending affirmative action in college and university admissions processes. Again, that was yesterday. There's some major rulings coming out here and a lot to react to. We've got Roger Severino today, former trial attorney at the U.S. Department of Justice and the vice president of domestic policy at the Heritage Foundation. Jordan Sekulow is back. He's the executive director for the American Center for Law and Justice. Thank you both, gentlemen, for coming on. We appreciate that. Roger, can I start with you on this one here? The student loan debt, Biden's student loan debt forgiveness plan would have cost more than $400 billion. This was struck down. For many paying attention, they knew this would happen. They thought this would happen already. I believe even Speaker Pelosi talked about this a couple years back. This was even mentioned, I believe, in their opinion. Listen to this.
People think that the President of the United States, is this more on the subject than you ever want to know? Will you let me know? People think that the President of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress.
Very clear there a couple years back. But Roger, again, trying to do that through the HEROES Act. Again, that was struck down 6-3. Your thoughts?
Well, this is a broken record. We saw that with Obama, who said he had a pen and a phone and he could lift immigration restrictions and open the borders up. We saw that with President Biden and vaccine mandates. First, he said he didn't have the authority to do it, and lo and behold, suddenly he said he did. And now with the student loan amnesty, this is a bailout that's really the worst of political pandering. He has a constituency that he wants to please, and he had no legal authority whatsoever to do it. He tried to cite a 2003 law that came out of the war in Iraq to say it's justified to do student loan bailouts today. This is the worst abuse of power, and the Supreme Court rightly smacked him down.
Do we have control room? The tweet from Kevin McCarthy, the House Speaker, he's weighed in on the matter. So we heard from the former House Speaker and the current House Speaker. But Jordan, it does have to do with the student loan forgiveness. Basically, he's saying that the majority of the population here will not have to take up the loans that 13% of Americans hold. This builds on the Fiscal Responsibilities Act's end to the payment pause. The president must follow the law. Jordan, your thoughts? Did SCOTUS get this one right?
Absolutely. And that goes to the policy concerns we all had, not just the legal concerns that the court was focused on about why this was a move that the president did not have the power to make, which was right. We filed in this case at the ACLJ. But then you go to the policy, and the policy is you're going to have people, hardworking Americans, blue-collar Americans who are, again, would be paying these people's loans back. So 4 major victories for conservatives out of the Supreme Court just the final 2 days.
It's a major day, and so was yesterday as well. If you guys could stick around, we'd appreciate that because one of those, again, that won that case is Lori Smith. Yeah,
again, the website designer at the center of the case we've been talking about all morning now. And also Kristen Wagner is joining us as well, CEO, President, and General Counsel of the Alliance Defending Freedom. She argued Lori's case before the High Court. So ladies, welcome and thank you very much. Lori, if we could first start with you, your initial reaction to the news from the court today.
Today's a day of victory, not just for me, but for everyone. The court has affirmed that no one can be forced to speak messages that go against the core of who they are and what they believe.
And also, too, Lori, we spoke with one of your attorneys earlier, obviously sharing a lot of joy in this moment for you as well. Kristen, if I could talk to you about this and arguing this case, and really how long has this been going on? And I'm sure you read some of the dissent as well, because there is obviously going to be opinions about this ruling today, not only from the public, but obviously from the justices as well. Can we get your overall thoughts on that?
It's a resounding victory for free speech and the principle that free speech applies to everyone. What was at stake in this case was whether the government itself had the power to tell people that they must say things they don't believe. And that power extends not just to those who share Lori's views, but it would extend to the LGBT website designer who doesn't want to criticize same-sex marriage, or the Democratic speechwriter, or perhaps the pro-abortion photographer. So again, this is a win for everyone to ensure that the government can't censor, silence, punish, and even ruin people, imposing jail time for declining to express messages that violate their convictions.
Lori, could you tell our viewers how long this process has been for you and what you've experienced between this initial filing and now ultimately this decision by the Supreme Court?
Sure. I have waited 7 very, very long years to create consistent with my beliefs while Colorado has censored and silenced my speech. I stood to protect not only my freedom, but everyone's freedom to speak freely. And today, the decision corrects that injustice because everyone must be free to speak and live consistent with their beliefs, whether they're the same as mine or perhaps different. It's been a journey and one we celebrate today.
Lori, there is an interesting point about the cake baker that sort of went through kind of the same thing, obviously, and then what you went through with your website design and the choices that the cake baker made. Both cases went up to the Supreme Court, and seemingly they sided with the cake baker, and then now with you in website design. But there are those that are critical of what the court has decided today, and many say that this is taking away rights of LGBTQ plus individuals. How do you respond to that?
When speech is concerned, speech should be protected. Nobody should be forced to create a message that goes against the core of who they are. This includes the LGBT website designer. Nobody should be forced to create a message they don't believe in. And today's victory protects each and every one of us.
I would also encourage everyday Americans to read the decision and see what it says, because it has been mischaracterized. What we know is that the court resoundingly said public accommodation laws have and will continue to coexist with the First Amendment, ensuring that we all have access to goods and services, but also ensuring that we all have the right to express what we believe freely in the public square. That's a win for everyone.
And Lori, what is next for you?
Well, I've wanted the same thing from day one, and that's to create consistent with my beliefs. And I look forward to finally being able to do that after a very long 7 years.
Is there any worry, Lori, that perhaps maybe you would lose business because of this, and it's gotten such a national platform and really divided many people, again, in obviously in the media, but obviously for, again, LGBTQ plus community? Are you worried that perhaps your business would suffer, or are you seeing an increase?
I am seeing an increase of support from people across the spectrum, and I'm even seeing messages of support from the LGBT community who don't want to be forced to create messages that go against what they believe on the topic of marriage. Today is truly a victory for each and every one of us.
Okay, we appreciate you both coming on today. Thank you so much. Lori Smith, again, at the heart of this SCOTUS case, and Kristen Wagon also working on behalf of her when it comes to arguing it. Thank you, ladies, both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it.